All right, Terrence Popp here with another episode of Live from the Lair. I've got a lot of requests for this. They wanted me to give my input on the whole Russia-Ukraine thing. And it's looking pretty serious, if you ask me. Yes, there has been reports of some troops being rotated to the rear. I think that is basically troops being rotated to the rear to rest, because when you deploy troops forward for a long period of time, that is required. I had an individual who is a retired intel analyst do a write-up for me with what he's been able to determine through open sources. I'm just gonna read it to you here. Now, you see the map behind me? Apparently, floating around out there is a couple of battle maps that made it onto the internet. All right, now, do I think the Russians are doing exactly what you're seeing here? Certainly not. But according to their order of battle and how they do things, there's really not a lot of surprises here.
Our current stunning and brave, duly elected, most popular president ever might have delivered the coup de grace to the Republic, but the first shots were fired by useful idiot vaginuts in sheep's clothing peddling lies and propaganda before our former Kenyan-in-chief made it legal. Take a stand against the tyranny and get yourself a copy of Surviving Fourth Wave Feminism today. A link is in the description.
So we're going to go over that. All right, so I'm going to read this to your date and time group. 9 May 21, 1600 hours EST, reporting stations, intelligence collection management. He doesn't want to put his name here, that's fine. Okay, report number, not important. Report number, Russia, Ukraine, tension known, OB. As of 8 May 2021, Russian forces appeared to have launched as many as 12 attacks within the Ukraine. Russian attacks are focused on the areas around the Ukrainian city of Sumy, Pisky, Novogorsky, and Verkhnyotre, that's a long ass name. And Nevelske, and let's see, Vodny. The Russian attacks appear this time to be preparatory or probing in nature. All right, that's typically what happens before a big army decides it's going to kick off some shit. There are no reports of invasive maneuvers at this time. Ukrainian forces report no lethal casualties during this action over the period of 24 hours. Russian OB masses at the Ukrainian border as of 7 July 2020. So this has been going on for a while. Let's see, 10 months-ish. So yes, with that amount of time, units are going to need to be rotated to the rear. And that's just how shit works. Russia has massed on the Ukraine border under pretenses of a military exercise. Yeah, okay. As many as 18 rocket, possibly SAM or Frog systems, 1,100 tanks, 2,800 APCs, and 1,170 artillery pieces, and 40 MLRS platforms. All I know is they're huge rockets. A lot of times they carry mines and cluster bomb munitions and can destroy whole grid squares. Not pretty things. We use them. Ours are a little better than theirs. For the most part, our equipment is better than theirs, by some of it by a significant margin, and some of it just by a little bit. All right, Russian military buildup is focused on the northern, northeastern, and eastern borders of the Ukraine, according to an ad hoc battle map posted to the website infomnapalm.org. The Russian forces have formed 3 primary groups, each unit positioned in what appears to be a preparation to advance, with mechanized infantry in front supported by armor and artillery. That's nothing new. All right, that's how warfare is done in today's day and age, and the Russians are no different. All right, Russian forces also occupy a portion of eastern Ukraine in 2 distinct battle groups, established blocking positions around 8 Ukrainian towns and cities. These 2 battle groups consist of as many as 35,000 infantry, 480 tanks, and support, with 910 mechanized infantry elements, 720 self-propelled artillery elements, and 200 MLRS platforms. That's not good. Russia has extensive SIGINT, EW, and UAV and drone assets in its military. Reports from within Ukraine indicate Russian military drone activity, at least in the region of Donetsk, and antenna and land-based platforms shown below indicates RDF capabilities, most common in the 20 to 80 megahertz HF ranges, and 140 plus megahertz spectrums common to modern militaries. All right, the Russian forces currently has massed along the Ukrainian border, along with the occupied eastern area of Ukraine, indicate that Russia intends to execute a major action with Ukraine. Possibilities include partial seizure of border regions with Ukraine, outright invasion of Ukraine with intent to occupy, or military aggression by Russia to neutralize or lessen Ukrainian military and political strength in the region. Russia has not at this time announced its intentions for Ukraine. That's interesting. Now, the part of Russia that's already occupied is here on this part right here. All right, now they have moved a vanguard forward with, self-propelled artillery and MLRS along with tanks. There's basically 12 battle groups, so 12 brigades. And you have 1 unit which is dedicated armor, and a lot of armor is dispersed through the mechanized units here. All right, now if you look at the map of Ukraine, you'll notice that basically through the upper third of the country is a string of lakes, and this one here is a bay which connects to the Black Sea. And this is Kiev, the capital. Now, typically, throughout history, when war erupts in Europe, it's really a game of run to the enemy's capital, seize it, and it usually, ends the whole thing. All right, so you have the upper battle group here, which is basically four battle groups or brigades, 6 battle groups or brigades here with, you'll see the tanks here. Now, all of these will have their own MLRS and artillery, self-propelled artillery along with them. My basic guess is going to be, it's not that complicated here. Over here, you have a naval task force which moved in position. I believe they have their aircraft carrier down there, along with their slew of protecting destroyers and a couple of medium to light cruisers. Now, nowadays, the cannons and stuff on those are not the primary weapons. The destroyers and light and mid-level cruisers are basically, anti-aircraft / missile ships. And then you have the aircraft carriers that they have that launches their particular airframes. Now, the only weakness of these particular aircraft carriers is they don't have the steam catapults that the United States aircraft carriers use. So that significantly impacts the amount of ordnance that can be, launched off of those aircraft platforms. Now down here, there's another 6 battle groups in the Crimea. Now in 2014, Russia seized the Crimea and nobody really put a big stink up about it. And I bet you, because we have our duly installed dictator, Mr. Biden in office, that the Russians are betting on the fact that we aren't going to do anything. Okay, and and that would be correct in assuming that bet. I mean, that's very likely. Now, the Ukrainian Air Force is a joke. Their Navy is a joke. In fact, Ukraine has the weakest Navy in all of the Black Sea. And I think the best platform the Ukraine has is the MiG-25s. Well, Russia has a lot of the, 5th generation fighters. They do have some stealth platforms that are not as good as ours, but it is what it is. The only hope Ukraine has is if they have some of the other countries to the east of them kick up some of their Air Force assets to assist. Otherwise, if they lose their the air superiority, or if Russia gets air superiority over them, which is really easy, it's pretty much a wrap. Okay. Now, the way I see it here, you have the water obstacles that run through the upper third of the country. This is the capital, Kiev, which is located between these two, water obstacles that are fairly significant. All right. Now, what my intel says that Ukraine has basically engineer regiments erecting, obstacles and putting in lanes to basically try to channel the Russian forces into, basically kill zones, kill sacks, or areas where they can be pinned down and destroyed. But if they don't have air cover, their artillery will get picked apart, and that won't be a problem. So my guess is you have this upper battle group, which is going to come across immediately. Well, they'll all attack at the same time and try to secure this side of Kiev. All right, right out the gate. All right, this one here is going to try to shoot this gap down here and come around the back side to basically surround the city and cause the country to capitulate. Now, the main effort here, which is coming in from this area, this is a very wide gap here, because if this battle group is blocked here and this one is stalled, this is a very big one that can shoot this gap and come around the backside and basically envelop. So there's basically 2 efforts to envelop here to the backside and hold down the front here. Okay, Ukraine has 15 brigades, roughly the same amount of men on the ground as the Russians have committed, but that really doesn't mean shit if they don't have air cover. All right, because the Russians will just rip them apart. Now, as a betting man, I am not really going to bet on the Ukraine putting up basically a knockdown, drag-out fight here. All right. Yes, they will put up some resistance up until the point where they lose their air force and NATO is fighting with itself like it usually does, and not come to anyone's aid and spend billions of dollars doing nothing. And the United States will do next to fuck all, and the Ukraine will fall, and Russia will get a warm water port off the coast of the Black Sea. Okay, now once the Ukraine is gone, you got Moldova, Latvia, some of the other smaller former satellites of the USSR, which don't stand a chance of resistance. And we could quite literally see the resurgence of a Russia close to the size of the old USSR. Now, I don't think that Russia's going to waste its time in the stands. There's really nothing out there but desert and open area. And then there's Afghanistan, which is basically the quagmire of the civilized world since, I don't know, Alexander the Great. So anyway, this is just a quick one overview. I dummied it way down for you guys out there because I know I have a lot of people who are not military and don't understand a lot of what's going on. Now, the reason I put the map up here is you're not going to get this in the media, all right? They're just telling you, they give you numbers, 100,000, 85,000. They're moving, the Navy's moving. They don't really go into the exact specifics. I'm trying to do that for you here so you can see for yourself exactly how this situation is developing on the ground. Now, I really don't think the Russians are not going to wait here for much more than a year. Okay, I can't see it going a year. Keeping an army deployed forward like this is very expensive. So at some point, they're going to have to make a decision to shit or get off the pot.